How are you?
Sorry?
How are you?
I'm fine, how are you?
Yeah, I'm alright, yeah.
Cool. Right, I've started recording, by the way, so I'm here with Michael J Dolan. So,
Hello.
he said hello. So, how do you think tonight's performance went?
Hot. It was good. I missed something out. Something went missing, I'm sure. But something always does. My memory's not what it used to be.
So yeah, that's for your Edinburgh Fringe show. What's your show called?
It's called Nothing Will Ever Be Alright Again Ever.
What inspired you to call it that?
It's what I believe. It came out of a bit that's not actually in the show anymore, where basically what happens is every time like my wife's upset or something, I end up saying this like little phrase that I know isn't true, even if I'm saying it, which is that, oh, don't worry, it's all going to be alright. I know it isn't, it's a lie, but I've got nothing else to offer. I just thought, it's never going to be alright, is it? Nothing's ever going to be alright again, ever. And that's kind of where the show came.
So what inspired you to do comedy full stop?
I can't really do anything else. Just nothing else panned out. And then I kind of... some people just aren't cut out for the world of work, I don't think. And this is like the closest you can get to not having a job.
So would you say your particularly nihilistic outlook on pretty much the world and everything kind of like led you to go into comedy? I mean, do you feel it's your motivation? What do you think about it?
I do remember when I first started, somebody asked me why I wanted to get into it, and I said, I've just got loads of stuff I want to say. And she went, that's not a good reason to get into comedy. You should be wanting to make people laugh. I was like, oh yeah, that's probably right. And then for a few years I just tried to make people laugh, and then I kind of got, it's just a bit empty, isn't it? I do have things that I want to say. I don't necessarily believe everything that I say on stage, but there is like a kernel of truth in everything. Yeah. It comes from a place of honesty, if it's not entirely honest.
To be fair, I mean, a lot of comedians have like an inner rage behind them. I mean, out of all the comedians that you've come across or know of, how many of those do you think have that motivation? How many do you think are actually in it for the laughs?
I don't know if rage is the thing. I think having a unique voice is definitely the thing that people are drawn to in a comedian. Like, if you look at all like the people who are genuinely like the genuine greats, they're all entirely themselves, they're all entirely unique. They're offering you something that nobody else, like a worldview that nobody else can offer. That's why people go and see them. And I'm not saying that I have that, because that's an incredibly arrogant thing to say. But also I'm incredibly arrogant, and I do think I have a fairly unique worldview. Not necessarily unique, but I don't think it's the same as anybody else on the circuit at the moment. I don't think anybody else is doing... I mean, like, originality kind of takes care of itself anyway. As long as you're being honest and being yourself and being who you're supposed to be, then you will come out with something unique.
Because the thing I noticed and other people have is basically how candid you are about your mental health, about being on medication and that.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, that's nothing to be ashamed of or keep quiet or anything. I'd be rubbish without it. Like,
do you think that's kind of played a part in how you are as a stand-up?
It means I show up to gigs more. It means I don't bail on gigs as much. I don't.
You've got a point.
It means I care less. That's always a good thing. Like, I used to really get upset if I died, and now I don't care. Like, I quite enjoy dying now. I think you have to, especially if you're trying to do something that people aren't really used to. You have to get used to showing up and people going, well, this is not what we want, and we hate you. And you have to be alright with that. And I kind of am now, but I wasn't until the Prozac.
Right. Well, how often do you get people like that these days? I mean, do you still have people like that? Or do you feel you have a bit of a core fan base as opposed to like being universally liked? What do you reckon?
Certainly not a fan base, not yet. That sort of thing.
Well, core audience, should I say? Yeah,
I mean, that sort of thing takes like decades to build up, doesn't it? But there are certainly the people. What tends to happen is I'll do a gig where almost everybody hates it, apart from like maybe two people at the back who are loving it, and they will tell me that it's the best thing they've seen. And I would rather have that than have everybody in the room just go away going, yeah, that was all right. That's better to me, to just have those two people.
How long have you been doing comedy?
It's got to be coming on for 7-8 years now. So long enough that I really should be doing better.
I think I know what you're going to say, but basically, I mean, have you said anything like on stage that you've been made to wish you hadn't?
Certainly like the last show that I did, sort of inadvertently, and I think a lot of comedians have this problem as well without necessarily knowing that it's happening.
Yeah.
There were elements of it that were sort of rooted in quite a misogynistic area, without necessarily being myself being a misogynist. I think it's the problem. I think it's possible to say misogynistic things without being a misogynist, and it's also something that happens a lot on the comedy circuit.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until somebody pointed it out, like I did a recording of the show, and somebody pointed it out in a review and said, like, I was really enjoying this, until it turned all like misogynist. And initially I just thought, well, that's just mental. That's not what happened. I'm not a misogynist, but that's not what was said. It was just that what I was saying was misogynist. And listening back to it and talking to people about it, I kind of came to the conclusion that it absolutely was.
I think the zeitgeisty thing to say is check your privilege, isn't it?
Yeah.
So.
I think the problem is that on like an individual level, I think you can pretty much defend an individual joke.
Yeah.
Because it is a joke. It's easy to defend, but the problem is it's more of a cultural thing.
Right. Yeah.
It's not just one joke. It's hundreds of jokes in comedy clubs all over the country every night of the week, and that is every individual joke contributes to that. And I just didn't want to be a part of that. I mean, largely it was also motivated by my own paranoia, because looking back over the review, it turned out she didn't actually call me a misogynist at all. I was just being mental.
You were here in Preston like 2 years ago for your last Fringe show, and you've been like here in Preston like for Crova events more or less about at least 3 times now. What keeps you coming back here?
They booked me, and the audience are really nice. It's just a really smart comedy literate crowd. They're polite, they listen, they don't shout stuff out. It's just they're like a proper like arts centre crowd where they know what they're here for. They're here for like a performance, and they'll let you get away with doing stuff that you wouldn't be able to do in a normal comedy club. Like they'll let you say they'll let you not be funny for a couple of minutes, which you don't get to do in other places. But I think it's important especially for like when you're running a show out or you're trying something new, you have to be able to just not be funny for a bit.
I mean, what's the worst review or bit of feedback you've had?
I think my favourite, there were 2. My favourite was, I think the quote was, watching Michael J Dolan die is like watching somebody deliberately scrape their nails down a blackboard for 20 minutes. I was pleased with that. But the best one, I think, was the reviewer cared so little about what he'd seen that he called me Fred J. Borrow in the review. Like, it's really just like Fred whatever.
Just made up a name. It had a J in it.
Yeah, it got the title of the show right and everything, but just the name was just whoever it is. That's like,
I think he was a man.
Yeah, real disdain.
So are you looking forward to Edinburgh based on tonight's show?
I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it, but at the same time, I'm sort of praying for a debilitating accident that means I can't go. Because there's parts of it that I'm going to enjoy, but there's parts of it I'm going to hate. It's a really long time to be there.
So you're there for a full month, a full 28 days?
It's
is it 21 days, isn't it?
I think it's
something like that.
24 shows I'm doing.
Yeah, we call publications 3 weeks, and there's also 3 weeks and bank holiday weekend. It's more like 24 days.
It's 2 weeks. It's 2 good weeks, and then
some scrappy weeks.
Yeah, 1.5 where everybody's mad and ill and wants to go home.
I've been there the whole month twice, and I know it. Yeah.
It's exhausting, isn't it?
So, and what venue are you playing at?
I'm at the Gilded Balloon at 4 p.m. Wherever that is.
I know it. I can't really describe it. It's basically like the Student Union building, but it looks like Hogwarts in a nutshell. Yeah,
that's the one.
Yeah.
I'm in the turret in the Gilded Balloon.
I know one. So I think that's pretty much all I've kind of got on my mind, really. So have you anything else to wrap it up with?
No, this has been very pleasant. I always enjoy talking about myself. Thank you very much.
Cool.